free, and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Chair Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be. Enjoy more of what life has to offer with the people who you love and care about most. This morning, we're going to be doing a little bit of a review of a music festival my girlfriend and I got to go to. I saw a couple of my friends, one from Illinois, one I went to college with, one from my hometown, which is, it was cool to run into some people we knew. That the festival was absolutely amazing in a lot of ways. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over some of my favorite parts, my least favorite parts. And additionally, I'm going to talk a little bit about drugs, alcohol, and music in general, kind of how it affects my body, how the vibe and the experience of it is in a universe of its own. And please stay with me. Hopefully the content doesn't get ruined too bad, because I feel like shit and my body's pretty beat up. I've been having an issue with my neck lately, and I just don't feel very good overall. I feel pretty terrible, but I swore that I would be doing these morning shows absolutely every morning. No excuses for 1,000 episodes. And we're only at 299, so we got a long way to go. No matter what, we're going to get this stuff done, and we're going to try and enjoy it. This one's supposed to be a fun one, so I'm trying to lighten my mood up a little bit. But also just not surprised that emotionally and physically I feel like crap after you drive over, I think the drive was like over 10, 12 hours. We had a car accident. There's just a bunch of stuff going on before and after, and I'm beat up and I feel like crap. But it's again, the point is that when you do this kind of stuff to your body and you're going to be tired. And this is why I think there's a huge epidemic with people being tired in general in life. And hopefully this can shed some light and some reality on some of the habits. And then you can see my energy when I'm like really focused and I'm doing only like healthy stuff, versus we kind of start dipping into some of the unhealthy stuff, how it affects us emotionally, how it affects us physically, and how it affects us spiritually, and how it affects what we're trying to get done and how we're trying to go about it. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen a little bit. Over here to the side, that there was just the drive that we made. So Bonnaroo is down in Manchester, Tennessee, more towards the center of the state. It's out in the middle of the woods. It's just south of Nashville. If you get a chance, if you're in the area, I would highly recommend, because it's just a 1 hour south Nashville. And we actually went to Nashville on the way back. We stopped there. It was a really fun time. Got to check that out. That was pretty sweet. So I highly recommend stopping in Nashville. It's called the Parthenon, or shoot, I cannot remember what that is called. So here's over here, Bonnaroo. Is it the Parthenon? So in Nashville, we got to stop by. It's the exact replica of Athena'S temple that's in Greece, I believe. The Parthenon is a former temple on the Athenian in Greece that was dedicated to the goddess Athena during the 5th century BC. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Got to do the museum for that. So if you're going to go to Nashville, I'd highly check this out if you're into architecture or mythology or man, it's a really cool building. You think that they would have in a better photo of it, because the one in Nashville looks like brand spanking new. They just built it in the 2000s. There it is. There's the building. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, pretty cool building, absolutely massive, and you can go inside it, and they have all that they have cool stuff in there. But that's nothing compared to Bonnaroo. Talking about Bonnaroo a little bit, so we had on here Kendrick Lamar, a little overrated in concert and music. I'm going to start with that. But some of the best. 3-6 Mafia was absolutely hilarious and super, super fun. The song Stay Fly still keeps you fly. That song was absolutely amazing. Sylvanesso, they're a 2-person band. My girlfriend absolutely loves and adores them. We got to see them. That was really good. Grizz. Yeah, there was like these light shows and the setup, and I wish I had I would have if I wasn't, I just slept, no joke. I just slept like 13 hours because my neck hurts and my body was just wrecked from driving and all this and that. And I still had to get a bunch of stuff done ready for work yesterday after we had driven back. So I was running on fumes and I passed out for like 13 hours afterwards. Kendrick Lamar, Odessa was really cool. They had like a fireworks show and stuff at the end of their show. That stuff was absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, we had an absolutely amazing time. I guess let's go ahead and we can kind of talk about. I'm going to kick this off the screen a little for just a little bit. Overall, my review is that it is the most electric. My favorite part was probably the outfits. People wearing different outfits, bright colors, different things, lots of booty cheeks, a lot of skin exposure, I guess I'll say. It was absolutely nuts. The outfits were fun, really amazing. Some of the things to get into the alcohol. So we drank heavily one day, and I usually don't drink anymore. Very hardly. I did the 100-day challenge where I gave up alcohol, and now at most I have a beer or two. But I will admit I did get pretty wasted on one of the festivals. I think it was Friday, the day Kendrick Lamar and 3-6 Mafia was on. And Matt Mason, we got to see him too Friday. That was cool. Yeah, Grizz was great. No, there was a bunch of cool stuff that we got to see on Friday. And I definitely got pretty wasted. So that was, and then there was something about, I honestly, it was pretty hot. So Tennessee in June, right? Not surprised that it was pretty warm that far south. However, I will say I stopped liking the drinking after a while because I felt like I had to keep doing it in order to just keep myself from feeling like crap, which I didn't like that much. So I'm kind of over the whole idea and trying to work on drinking that much. I don't think I need to do that to enjoy and have a really good time anymore. And it just jacks me up physically and emotionally and stuff. So I really wasn't a big fan of the drinking and the alcohol, a few beers here and there. But to like really get with the vibe, it felt like I had to go all in just because the experience was supposed to be that type of energy, and that's cool. But I felt like I was kind of forcing it. And that's something that I don't believe you need to do in order to still have a really good time here at like a music and arts festival like Bonnaroo. So that's on my tips on drinking. I think you can get as plowed as you want there, and you can get buck wild and buck crazy. Just understanding that there was a girl who passed out in the line, waiting in line to get into Center Row, and it was pretty hot, and so alcohol wasn't really my jam for that type of festival. But I can see why people want to just get chugged and get plowed and like get rowdy and stuff. It's fun, it's a good time. I understand it, but when I'm really thinking about how I feel and what the alcohol is giving for me or doing for me, I don't really give a crap, and I don't really need it. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the show this morning. So next on to is the drugs. So I did do some mushrooms. We got to try that. And it was a really, really intense experience. I will say I'm not big into tripping on anything using psilocybin. I've used the compound before in the past, and the main thing I would say is be very careful when you're using something like this, when you're doing so. I think there are a lot of benefits when you do it in small dosages and you don't do it super frequently. And additionally, there's thousands of medical journals. There's studies coming up from MAPS and all other really big companies that are working with veterans, people who have PTSD, people who have like traumas. I'm pretty a little undersold on the addiction aspect of using psychedelics or using psilocybin and those types of drugs to help with addiction. I've actually heard a lot of counterintuitive stuff about addiction with drugs. So if you're trying to break addiction, I definitely would go more of the sober route. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist. I've just read like 2 or 3 books on it. And there's a lot more support and case studies towards being sober than using drugs like psilocybin and trying to break your addiction that way. Versus there's tons of evidence that if you have trauma and if you have something like PTSD, then it is very, very, very helpful. It's also just some type of release in general. So we did more of the mushrooms, and it was pretty intense throughout my body. There was this, if you see at Bonnaroo, there is this like big mushroom thing. It's like a waterfall. Danielle was brave enough to get into that. I had this super intense experience, so I might as well tell the story now. It's pretty gross, but I think it's funny. So they call it like as you're coming up and on the drug, then it can upset your stomach. So mushrooms, it's a literal poison. That's like the poisoning effect is what's causing you to feel the intensity throughout your body, to feel the lightness, yada yada. So anyway, my stomach's a little riled up because I had a few too many pancakes that morning. And I go to the bathroom and it just hits me like a whirlwind. And let me tell you, if you can bring a portable toilet to Bonnaroo, you will be doing yourself the greatest service of services. The porta potties are absolutely disgusting. They do a good job of cleaning them and coming in and out. And I will say that. So shout out to the brave souls and all of the wonderful people who are cleaning those toilets, because you're doing God's work out there. Anyway, so they're pretty roughed up and nasty. And they got done cleaning them. And then I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to get in there. This one's going to be clean. But it was really steamed out from them spraying it on. And everyone in the park is dehydrated. It was really hot, let alone someone who is coming up on mushrooms. And I go into the Porta-John and I'm crapping my guts out. I can feel like the hairs lengthening on the arms of my body. It was one of the most intense experiences. I was pouring out sweat. And then when I got out, it felt like this euphoric, like crap of birth or whatever, birth crap that I had in my body. And then we go into the music concert, and then it's, of course you can kind of put two and two together, music and lights and all of this crazy stuff. And we had a really, really good time. But I would definitely, when it comes to the drugs on it, I'm not a big fan of it, because you're releasing so much that it gives you this thing called an afterglow after you're done with it, and you feel very good. You feel like you've literally expelled like Satan out of your body, is how I would describe it. But the next couple days, I've always noticed that chemically, I just feel a little off, and I don't I feel a little more tense or a little more riled up, a little more agitated. So that's why I personally don't really do it very often. Or if I tend to do smaller amounts. I personally don't need the feeling of leaving my reality like totally and completely. I think I like my reality a lot more. And it turns out when I'm just focusing on the present moment, this in itself is like the ultimate drug that I want. This is, of course, the life coach answer and how we're going to wrap up today's show. Is when you are at these things, it's okay to drink a little bit of alcohol. It's okay to do a little bit of mushrooms. It's okay to just experience the music. But I'm really excited for myself because I've had 2 of the 4 days I was completely sober and I had a really, really good time. So if you struggle to go to these types of events, to be in these types of environments, I would challenge you to try and be sober for one of them and just see if you can enjoy yourself. Really focus on what you're trying to focus on. Because so many times, I notice this way more with the drinking than with like the mushrooms, but it almost seemed like I couldn't give myself permission when I wasn't a certain type of drunk. When I wasn't feeling a certain type of buzz, I couldn't give myself permission to just enjoy the shows, to enjoy the music, to enjoy my girlfriend, to enjoy the costumes, to enjoy all of the. They say this thing like happy Roo, and everyone's smiling and everyone's so nice. And I feel like it's so easy to miss out on that when you're relying off of substances to give you permission to have a good time. So I would challenge your thinking when you go to these types of things. I would highly recommend Bonnaroo. I think it's the coolest music festival I've ever had a chance to be with. Granted, we had these amazing setups and this and that, and how me and Danielle, maybe I can pull up a picture of where we were. Well, I don't want to show. Okay, can I do that? Okay. Sweet, I can show that one. I'm going to show you guys this picture real quick. This was our camping setup. So you can kind of see shade is worth $1 million there, by the way. You're in the Tennessee sun. The campsites are out in the open platforms of the woods. So it is full on exposure. I'm telling you, full on. So if you go there, please understand it is like millions of dollars exchanged for some shade. And that's not even the real woods. That's a tapestry that looks like woods, but it's enclosed, it's encaved, it's shaded. We had places to cook. I had pancakes and eggs multiple times, so it was really fun. Had a lot of prepared. My girlfriend's like a pack master and organizing, super aficionado. So we were all set up great. I pretty much just had to be a mule and drive there and back. So definitely worth every time, every day of the week. So we're looking forward to it again. We like it. I think there's a good chance that we'll go back. I guess that's probably what you should always add in a review. I think if you have a way to save and conserve ice or ways to cool your body down, again, highly recommend that. Shade is worth $1 million. The music there, the variety of the shows, make sure that you're in shape, maybe working out a decent amount before you go to this thing, because you're literally standing. The place comes to life at night. The Ferris wheel lights up in colors. This stage, that stage, which stage, all of them have bright, beautiful lights. There's light shows. There's all of these types of things. It's all about the night. So if you can try and line yourself up to where you're going to have a really fun experience throughout the night, and you can stand for long periods of time, you can move around, stretch your body out, I think you're going to have a much better experience. So this was my review on Bonnaroo. I give our general experience, not from Bonnaroo, I give our experience a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 for me is because the bathroom situation, you kind of had to time up when you'd have to take a shit, and the bathrooms were just disgusting. So it's overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. It was a little hot. The bathrooms were gross, but damn it, the music was crazy. The drugs were crazy. The alcohol was crazy. Had a lot of great times, and I highly, highly recommend it. And you got to buy these things early. Like, this thing was maxed out capacity. Over 100,000 people went to this thing because of the COVID hiatus over the last 3 years. So if you're going to buy tickets, you got to buy them early. But damn it, this place was rocking and rolling. It was crazy. Best performance, you got to answer that question, right? Best performance, probably Lil Nas X. Honestly, he had these giant 100-foot like horses and trolls and like these people in these amazing costumes and dancers. It was pretty buck wild. But so I'd probably give it him. Kendrick Lamar, I was pretty disappointed with. He was just sitting there like talking, just lip singing the songs, and just love, happiness, here to play. Thank you for coming tonight. Just like very monotone and stuff. And I'm calling out Kendrick on that. But I don't know. Overall, it was pretty cool. There's a ton of great performances and types of music everyone could ever like and want. So cheers, friends. I'm wrapping it up for today. I'm gonna head out of here. I'm gonna go get some more rest, I think, for a little bit before I start my work day. But you guys have an incredible, incredible day. Enjoy yourselves. In case you needed to hear it, I love you. Have an awesome day. Let's go do something fun and adventurous. Cheers to personal development. And I will catch you guys on the next episode, the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go tips, tricks, and ideas to help grow ourselves in ways we never could imagine. See you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you like the content, please make sure to like, comment an emoji, or share with your friends. We're trying to get this content out to the entire world. So thank you so much. I love you all. I'm out of here. And happy Roo! Happy Roo!